Back like we never left.
This is the most back we've been.
This is pretty consistent for us, I will say. So props
I,
to us.
we're really coming into the junior year and it's suiting us very well.
Yeah, we're entering our flow state for sure.
Hello, Jay, and hello, listeners. Welcome back to the Good Rally Podcast. I'm Nafeesa, and we have a lot to talk about today.
We do. We do. We've got on-court stuff to talk about, off-court stuff to talk about, a Good Rally podcast stuff to talk about. It's been a very eventful 2 weeks for us.
Mm-hmm. So just to go through the rundown so y'all know what you're getting yourselves into, we're going to cover the Australian Open. It just wrapped up today / yesterday.
Yeah, a couple hours ago, less than 12 hours ago.
We're going to get into who our best dressed players were from the tournament, week 1 highlights, week 2 highlights. We're going to spend a little bit of extra time on Coco Golf, our fave. And we're going to give an overall review of the 2026 version of this tournament and what we're looking forward to next.
Yeah, I think that covers it.
Okay. I mean, we do have a lot to talk about. It's fresh on our minds, so let's get right into it.
You have got to be kidding.
Electrifying the crowd. Oh, that's incredible. What a way to win it.
Those who thought who were putting water on my fire, you're really adding gas to it. And now I'm really burning so bright right now.
First and foremost, I have to say happy Black History Month.
Hello.
You know, this one feels a little bit more important than others in the past, truly. The state of the world that we're living in this country, the fact that we couldn't get a Black player to the finals at the Australian Open this year. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay. It hurt a couple days ago, but my system, my spirit has recovered.
Very true. And we still have 3 more shots to get a Black player in the final at a
Right.
Grand Slam.
Exactly. But it would have been fire to start Black History Month off that way with a Black player winning the Australian Open title. That's okay.
And you know what? In some people's eyes, a Black player did win the Australian Open.
The most color we can get to that final, child. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Shout out Carlos. I love Black History Month. It's my favorite time of the year. And then, you know, what I always say is I get 2 months as a Black woman. So we get Black History Month and then Women's History Month. It's 60, not 60. February has 28 days in it. It's 58 days to celebrate being a Black woman, a Black femme, and that feels nice.
Sometimes 59.
Hello. Huh.
And
Every
the
4 years.
29th, the 29th just feels like a holiday when that happens.
Yes. Maybe we should turn that into a Black femme, Black woman holiday officially every 4 years.
Maybe. That'd be really nice.
Completely get wasted in whatever way you'd like to get wasted in.
True.
And
That'd
then
be nice.
and then recharge and do it again every 4 years.
Just like the Olympics.
Hello. Okay, let's talk about week 1 highlights. Do you have any? Because I know you were kind of like, up in arms. Not up in arms. But
No,
you
I
were
was.
under-
I think that is the correct terminology. I was bored.
Okay, so I'll stay with that. You were up in arms and underwhelmed. Say more.
I was underwhelmed. Like if underwhelmed is here, I was below underwhelmed. It just kind of gave nothing. And maybe the time difference had a lot to do with that, because I'm thinking, well, if I'm staying up till 3:30 in the morning for matches, I want them to be good. I want them to be worth me losing sleep over. And I have to say, a lot of them weren't.
Do you have any matches that specifically pissed you off because they were just not good? Especially if they were happening at 3:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time?
In week 1, I'll say Madison Keys' like first match. She played a Ukrainian player whose name I will not butcher. That match was so close that I was like, what is happening here?
Just for the record, her name is Alexandra Olenikova.
I will say shout out to her though. She showed up and she showed out. She did. She really gave Maddie Keys a run for her money. But I was like, this is round 1 and you're the defending champion here. What is going on?
I know that Madison Keys has matches where she takes a little bit of time to like warm up and get into it, but I was actually scared for her a little bit during this one.
Me too. I thought it was going to be a first round upset, truly. And the thing that made that match a little bit of a snooze fest for me was the amount of moonballs.
Girl.
Straight to the moon, no NASA. It was back to back to back. And I understand that she was trying to throw off Keys's rhythm 1000%. When you're playing like an all-star, a champion, that is one of the tactics. I don't blame her for doing that. But I got so tired of those moonballs that I was tempted to cut that match off. It was the only weapon she had.
It became really tired.
It was one-dimensional.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, this feels like the only like weapon in your arsenal. That and just like the chaos of it all.
Yes. I will say the chat was active, talking about her appearance, her tattoos. She came on and she had face makeup. It was like beautiful, like flowers all over her face. And people just were like, who is this person? But I have to say, I loved it. I really did.
Yeah, people were floored by the way she looks physically. She has a lot of like big tattoos that might not be seen as quote unquote feminine, and she did have the flowers on her face. I don't know if she said anything to this effect, but I feel like the face stickers were maybe an intimidation thing, because you don't see that on the tour, you don't see that on court. I thought it was cool, and I don't know, take that with a grain of salt. I'm from New York, so we see shit like that all the time. But I thought it was cool. The one thing I do want to point out from Olenikova is her post-match press conference and the shirt she wore. So even though the match, which I agree was, oh girl, that was hard to get through, I will say I did like the t-shirt that she wore in press, which read, "I need your help to protect Ukrainian children and women, but I can't talk about it here," which was cool. And I hope that she did get some press that she was after, just to bring awareness to her cause and what is currently happening in Ukraine.
Yeah, she gained a lot of respect from me for doing that.
And off the court only, though. She gained respect off the court. On court, it was silly goose activities.
But I will say, in her post-match press conference, she did the thing that a lot of American players refuse to do, which was use her platform to talk about something political, the state of her country. No American tennis player at the Australian Open did that.
And awkwardly enough, the ones who were prompted were more likely to be the Black players. And Shelton got asked. Coco got asked. I know Taylor Fritz got asked, but he just declined to answer.
The three that I saw were Lerner Tien, Amanda Anisimova, and Taylor Fritz.
So yeah, on the POC side, we have Lerner, Ben, Coco being asked. On the non-POC side, we have Anisimova and Fritz. What did Anisimova say? I missed it.
She addresses the topic twice. So essentially, in her first post-match interview, where they ask her about her thoughts on the current state of what's happening in the US right now, she basically goes on to say that this isn't relevant. And that's kind of it. She sort of like dismisses the interviewer and she wants to move on from it. A couple of days after that, in another post-match press conference, they ask her about why she didn't answer the question about playing under the American flag. And she's quoted as saying, "In my other press conference, the fact that I didn't want to answer a question that was obviously intended for a headline and clickbait, that was my right. It had nothing to do with my political views or anything like that. The fact that people assume that they know my stance on certain important topics is just wrong. It's not factual. It's tough, but I've learned to get used to it." You know what I think? I think, sure, you have a right to decline any question in a press conference, but you should also have the self-awareness to know that you, as a professional athlete on the main stage at a Grand Slam, you have power, you have privilege. And it is because you have those things, it is your right to talk about the things that are happening in your country to common people who don't have the privileges that you have. the bare minimum that she could have done was been like, I sit on a throne of privilege, and I'm not in the US. I'm not an immigrant. I'm not experiencing the hardships that my fellow Americans are currently experiencing, but I feel for them. She didn't even say that.
No, she didn't say that. But also, I mean, obviously you're right. Like, anyone has the right to decline answering a question, but her declining still says something. Like, there's no way to not say something if you are asked a political question by press. If you decline it, that still says something. If you address it and have an answer, that also says something. So if someone asks a player, like, how do you feel about the state of the world, your country's impact on the state of the world, how do you feel about playing under this flag while these things are happening? By declining it, you still have shared a stance. And that stance is, I'm going to play under this flag regardless to what's happening. That doesn't change me wanting to play under this flag. That doesn't change my affiliation with this country and maybe my patriotism even. I don't get where she's coming from because there is an answer even in no answer. Like, there's no way to like skirt it.
Yeah, I just feel like a massive, massive ball was dropped. I think we've been around the game enough to know by now that that press room is full of like white men who do ask questions for like clickbait or whatever, for social media engagement, whatever. That's true. Two things can be true here. But I just feel like her response was incredibly irresponsible, and it gave white woman privilege down.
Yeah, they tend to do that. By they, I mean, yeah, like the white players. Like, it is a bubble, and I think it is an immense amount of privilege to not have to give robust answers to a question like that. And then once you get past that, or you leave that press room, you don't even have to think about it at all.
I mean, if I'm giving her a hard time, I got to give the others a hard time too, because nobody answered that question.
Maybe this is a stretch. Maybe this is a reach. Please tell me. But honestly, this is just another case as to why I will continue to advocate that these players need a couple months off so they can read some books, watch the news,
gain some knowledge outside of the sport,
subscribe to a Substack or something. Just get your money up, not your funny up, and just become more socially aware, because you've been playing a sport since you were probably like 4 years old. It's what you eat, sleep, and breathe. But the world exists outside of this sport, and these players aren't an exception. They should they should be in touch with and tapped into what's happening, because it affects everybody.
And it's not like politics hasn't touched the game of tennis. Look at all of the Russian players who have either had to not be supported by their country and still represent Russia, or they've literally had to ask other countries to represent them. Rybakina, who won, represents Kazakhstan because Russia was not going to support her. Tennis is inherently political. And so to not want to bring politics in the room feels incredibly, for lack of a better word, silly to me.
Yeah, I'm telling you, silly goose, silly goose. Damn, both of us just being silent for a moment does say a lot.
Anyway, from a low light to a highlight, I want to talk about the best dressed players at this year's Australian Open.
Okay, I think you should lead this conversation because I do not have many kits that I bookmarked in my head.
My hottest take, and I'm so sorry, I liked Carlos's Shades of Green Tennis Channel kit. I liked
people didn't like that one?
People hated it, but I thought it was it worked with his personality, and it worked with his game style.
I didn't know that people didn't like that.
They didn't like the green, but I liked it. And in comparison to the Hamburglar badass kid kit that he wore at Roland Garros last year, I thought he showed up and showed out. And honestly, maybe I am a little biased because green is in my top 2 colors, but
The badass Jailhouse Rock kit that Nike put him in, that was a travesty. The green was fine. I sent you a text about it. He looked I can't repeat what I sent in the text, but it gave
I think you
great.
should say what you said in the text. The text is
Okay.
hilarious.
I like the green. Damn, it feels crazy to say it out loud. I like the green because it made his butt look like 2 seedless green grapes. And that was yummy to watch for 2 weeks. It really was. I was like, green grapes are my favorite fruit. And to see 2 just bouncing up and down the court for hours every other day was very nice. I liked it. And then to get to the final and go Super Saiyan in the Shigo outfit,
Yeah.
of course he was winning that final.
Yeah, it gave bad bitch. It did. It did give bad bitch. That text had me laughing for like 60 seconds straight. Truly.
You should have seen me on the couch, like watching one of his matches. And I was watching him versus Zverev, and I go, wow, that is what it is. It took me the entire tournament up into the semis to like really lock in and be like, why do I like these green shorts?
Before I get to the main event, because everybody knows whose kit I'm gonna talk about. Francis Tiafoe's kit was beautiful.
Loved Francis's kit. That was actually one of the kits that I did remember. And I'm like, this is a great kit. Good for him.
It was beautiful. Lululemon, finally, I mean, and they've been kitting him out very, very well. Like they've had really great colors for Francis. I remember he wore this like wine color, like 2-piece set that was very pretty. But this one, it just had it really did give, like truly. So the kit was beautiful because it looked sort of like a heat map, but it was also the same colors that are in the flag of the country that his parents are from, which is Sierra Leone. It was just so subtle and so pretty. And I think it looked really good.
I agree. Yeah, this was one of Francis's best kits, which makes me sad that he didn't go even farther because I wanted to see more of it, to be honest.
There are some things in life that are guaranteed. And for me, one of those things, Francis versus Demonar's cooking him. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, straight sets.
But honestly, Demonar making the quarterfinals, the thing that's guaranteed, he won't get further. I'm so sorry. He's Mr. Quarterfinal. Because who's after the quarterfinals? Either Carlos or Sinner for him. Every time.
Yeah, which honestly brings me to a question, and I've been thinking about this a lot since the finals happened. For the rest of the men's side of the tour, can the men who are better than most ever be on the level of Carlos and Yannick to take them down? Like, can the Demonars, can the Musettis, even the Sheltons now, maybe no. I was gonna say Bublik, but no, that's probably not happening. Sorry. But can the people who are better than the rest ever beat the new 2?
I have to say no. And you know what? You know who proved that? Novak did. Because if anybody, any active player has what it takes to be both Yannick and Carlos, it would be Novak. And even he couldn't get the job done. I think the only way the Tiafos, the Demonars, the Sheltons, the anybody else's who are in that tier of player, the only way they raise the trophy at the end of a tournament is if they do a group project and one person takes out Sinner and another person, a completely different person, takes out Alcaraz.
But that's the thing. Who is taking out Sinner or Alcaraz besides Novak?
Elliot Spizzirri was close.
He was close, but no cigar. And then the other question is, who outside of Yannick and Carlos is taking out Novak? It's not consistent enough. Okay, if I'm just going through the top 10 players on the men's side, and I'm obviously excluding Novak, Carlos, and Yannick, that leaves Bublik, Taylor Fritz, FAA, Ben Shelton, Alex de Minaur, Lorenzo Musetti. And Zverev.
I have a hot take.
I bet it's not hot. Go ahead.
I think if he changes his physio and maybe packs on 5 more pounds of muscle, Musetti can do it.
Yeah.
Because he's been close with both of those players. He almost beat Novak at this year's Australian Open, and he almost took the title at Monte Carlo last year. But he got injured on the court, and it was so sad to see.
Yeah, his body is actually his one deterrent.
He has the game. He does.
Yeah, the skill is there. The body, the conditioning, the strength training just needs to be in alignment with the skill.
It's the one-handed backhand. It's the slice of the ball that changes up the rhythm. His serve is really good. He's an all-court player. He can come to the net if he needs to. He's developing into a really well-rounded player, but that body is his biggest detriment.
Yeah. Okay, I don't want to steer too much into that conversation because we'll come back to that for week 2 highlights. There is one more best dressed player, and I know you want to spend a little bit of time on this one. Do your thing.
Just a little, because everything under the moon has been said about it. Naomi Osaka takes the cake for best dressed at this year's Australian Open. And I know the outfit was controversial to some people, but it wasn't to me. I think that fashion does have a place in tennis. And I think that she is the best representation of that. I think she does the things that a lot of players are like just too scared to do, or maybe players are just like, I just want to focus on the tennis. But this is a player, Naomi Osaka is a player who has said publicly, fashion is a thing that I'm interested in. So why wouldn't she be fashionable on the court?
Yeah, I mean, on top of her personal interest in fashion, fashion is 100% ingrained in tennis. Hello, tennis bracelet. Like, you can't separate the two. Why are people doing this? This feels so crazy. Trying to like take politics out of tennis and take fashion out of tennis when both of those things are embedded into the sport, just like they're embedded in every other sport. There's an entire category of fashion called sportswear because fashion is so important when it comes to sport.
Hello, Serena's kits. Hello, Andre Agassi's kits. The hair, the bandana on the court, the polos. What are we saying here? That's fashion.
And honestly, too woke cap coming on. Happy Black History Month. But I think that to try to eliminate fashion or creative expression from the sport just reinforces ideas around blandness, blankness, and respectability. Basically, you're asked to be uneventful physically in what you wear and just play the sport. It's the continuation of like telling athletes to just play their game. That's it. That's all we're interested in. Just your game, not like your interests, not like you trying to be creative or express yourself on the court. Miss me with that. It's so boring.
It really is. I think there is an expectation of one-dimensionality in tennis just because of its history. And I think we're moving away from that. Like, I genuinely do think that given the rise of the popularity of the sport, we can capture this moment right here and be like, tennis is more than just a game. It has an entire culture attached to it. And I think Naomi Osaka showing up on the court in high fashion is evident of that. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Now, I will say, I had one issue with that outfit, and that was I hated the size of the hat.
I thought it was too big?
I thought it was too small. It looks like, you remember when Pharrell was really obsessed with wearing big hats for like a year? That's what that hat gave me. And I was thinking everything else on her body was so dramatic and beautiful and flowy. That hat should have been twice the size, but it looked like a clearance rack hat.
Yeah, okay. It looked like a beach hat.
It looks like a beach hat.
Okay, I mean, that's a good segue though into week 2 highlights, because in week 2, well, leading up to week 2, Naomi actually retires from AO
and an ab injury.
And says that her body isn't the same. And that honestly almost made me cry. And this is coming from me, whose closest experience to this is having sciatica and not being able to go to the gym for a month and a half and lift heavy. But just having one idea about your body But then having your body talk to you and be like, you think I'm like this, but I'm actually like this now, is so heartbreaking. And I was devastated that it happened to her, because before she retired, it had just happened, the injury. So she thought she was going to play in that third round until like moments before the actual match. And then she was like, my body isn't the same. I don't really have a response to this because I'm still processing. But just like we've witnessed her journey the past year and a half of getting back into the top 20 and coming so far. And then there being moments during that journey where she didn't think she could do it, but she did it. She's back in the top 20. And then to go out like this is crazy.
It was very sad. It was very, very sad to see, actually.
It's sad, and yet, because we've just seen her do it, make that climb and fight, I'm pretty sure by the end of this tennis year, she'll have made it into a quarterfinal, a semi, or even a final of a Grand Slam. Pretty sure of it.
I hope so. I definitely see her making the final of a 1,000 event.
Mm-hmm.
I could easily see that. Maybe a 500 too.
I think if I had to predict, even though we'll get into this too, but our predictions are really hit or miss. But if I had to predict, I'd say it'd come at the second half of the year, after she's had some like time to recover and figure out the abdominal thing. But I have a feeling. Any other week 2 highlights you want to get into?
No.
Okay, I have a few week 2 highlights that I just want to list very quickly, because I was like, this is nice. This is surprising.
Okay, go.
Ben Shelton didn't drop a set the entire week 1, which for him is great progress. I was like, okay, he's working. He's our American hope on the men's side.
Quick plug for his YouTube series, The Long Game. I started watching it, and it is very good.
I didn't know he had a YouTube series until 2 days ago. I saw it and I was like, damn, if this culminates in him lifting a Grand Slam trophy, how beautiful would that be?
He's pacing himself.
He is, and doing a really good job. Shout out to number 8. Other week 2 highlights I have: Svitolina beat Mira Andreeva, which I did not expect, but Svitolina was locked in. Jessica Pegula beating Madison Keys in the 4th round. I will say, as someone who has seen plenty of Jess's matches in the past 2 years, she looks even more fit. Like, she's been in the gym, I can tell. And that showed in that match, because she made Madison look like she had not won the previous year.
She did. She was locked in. Like, when it came to her friendly fire matches, she had 2 back-to-back, Madison Keys and then Amanda Anisimova right after. And you would think that they were her arch enemies, because she beat them both in straight sets and she made it look easy.
Yeah, so shout out to Jess. She's definitely winning a 1,000 level tournament this year. Maybe even making another Grand Slam final. I also have Coco and Iga being out in the quarterfinals. And yeah, week 2 highlight, Rybakina lifts the trophy. Shout out Elena. And also, let's bring it back to our previous episode where we made predictions for certain players on both the men's and women's side. I brought up Rybakina because she's so solid. I think she's a solid player. Your prediction was, if you can remember, please restate it for the audience.
I said that she wouldn't win anything except the WTA finals, because that is when she tends to show up and show out in the calendar year. I love to be proven wrong. Honestly, my entire foot is in my mouth right now. And I love that. I love that for her. I especially love that for me, because it offered me some sort of variety. Because, I mean, I would have patted Sabalenka on her back if she won, but we've seen it already. Rybakina winning, that shook the room.
I'm happy for you and proud of you that if Sabalenka won, you would have been cool with that, but I would not have been. And I'm so happy I did not have to sit through that or see it. I'm happy that Rybakina has another Grand Slam title, which is so sick. And her composure during that match was insane. You talk about locked in. Sabalenka's doing her usual hooting and hollering on one side of the court, and Rybakina is just silent and deadly.
Her style is honestly a little intimidating because she is so chill on the court.
If I had to play someone professionally, she would be a nightmare because she seems like the most intimidating because she emotionally she doesn't reveal much, so it's hard to get a read, and you never know when you're really affecting her. Shout out to her. Shout out to Kazakhstan.
Yeah, really quick, I do want to talk about Coco's exit because the internet was in shambles about it. And I don't think that it's not the fact that she lost in the quarterfinals. Like, truly, it really isn't. Like, sometimes these things happen. It is the way that she lost in the quarterfinals. For reference, for anybody who didn't watch this match, first of all, I can't blame you because it was quick. You blinked and you missed that match. It was Coco Gauff versus Elena Svitolina in the quarterfinal. And I thought it would be a battle. Elena had just come off of beating Mira Andreeva in a very great match, very tight match. And I thought we would see more of the same. No, Svitolina cooked Coco 6-1, 6-2 in 59 minutes. Blink and you missed it. And the whole time at the start of the match, Coco gets on the court and immediately she doesn't like the tension of her strings. So she gives her racket over to her box and she's like, I want this restrung. It took them so long to get her a new racket that by the time it was back, they were in the second set and it was almost over. It was hard to watch. The body language was negative. You could tell that she was anxious about the racket. She couldn't find the court. And meanwhile, on the other side of the net, Svitolina is just making everything. She can't miss. It was one of those matches and one of those days where you are having the worst day and your opponent is literally having the best day. It just was not her day. And a lot of people were theorizing afterwards, like, well, should Coco switch something up? Does she have to reconsider her coaching box again? Like, should she move pieces around? And I'm like, no, she just had a bad day. And if you watch enough tennis, you know that that happens to everybody.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens.
But will she probably take another Grand Slam this year? Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see. I'm hoping for the US Open.
Me too. I want that feeling in my tennis year. When it comes to Coco's exit, did you have any words about her privacy being infringed upon?
I will say I wasn't surprised that they rolled the cameras while she smashed her racket. Unfortunately, that is what they do. They are extremely... Again, you watch enough of these tournaments and you know they exploit players. Honestly, I think that they did it for one reason, but a part of me, I loved that she smashed that racket. If she would have done it on court, I would have been okay with that too, honestly, because she had a terrible match. And like, what do y'all expect from her? To just be like, that's fine. She's not on 100 milligrams of Lexapro or anything like that. Like, she is going to feel it. She was frustrated. And that's what happens when you're frustrated. That clip airing and then going viral was just nuts. People smash their rackets all the time. We have on our Instagram a compilation of men smashing their rackets. And none of those got as much airtime, screen time, discussion time as Coco smashing hers.
Well, yeah, that's because men are expected to like be angry and be able to get their anger out, and women are supposed to just fucking hold on to it. I'm glad she smashed the racket too. That's the one thing you have to use in a tennis match, your fucking racket. So when your racket fails you, or it's not, that connection between you and that racket ain't there today, just smash it, dog. Just let it out, and then you get to fucking move on. But who wants to hold on to that tension, that sadness, and that disappointment in yourself?
And she made a really good point. she said that she smashed the racket, one, because she was frustrated, and two, because she didn't want to take out her frustrations on her team. Can you blame her? Honestly, smashing the racket seems like the healthier option of the two. That is incredibly mature and insightful for a 21-year-old.
It's like a rage room. So good for her. Good for Coco. Glad she did it. Keep smashing rackets as long as you need to, girl. Now, I know you want to talk about the men's semis.
I want to talk about the men's semis because both of those semifinals woke the entire tournament up for me and a lot of other people.
Say more.
I can't remember the last time that I watched a tournament where both men's semifinals were great matches. Honestly, it felt like one of those very pivotal days in the sport of tennis. Being a tennis fan, you're like, I know exactly where I was when I watched those matches. This will go down in history as a historic day for the sport. That's exactly what happened.
And it was 1 versus 3 and 2 versus 4.
Yep. Carlos versus Zverev, Yannick versus Novak. And I think people had a lot of predictions about Yannick and Novak, but I think the thing that really surprised a lot of people was the match between Carlos and Sasha. So Carlos takes the first set of that match, and then he starts cramping. I didn't know whether it was actual cramping or an injury. I'm not going to lie to you. As a Carlos fan, I was scared. He was stretching his groin, and a groin injury, that's hard to play with.
And then coming right off of Musetti having a groin injury, it was traumatic, yes.
I did have PTSD, absolutely. And so, yeah, Carlos takes set 1 and set 2, actually. He takes the first 2 sets. And then the cramps come, and I thought it would be Yannick all over again. Yannick started cramping in that match against Elliot Spizzirri, and everybody thought he was cooked. And then they closed the roof and he got a break. And so I was like, I don't know how Carlos is. I've never seen Carlos cramp in a match. I was like, I don't know how he's going to deal with this. This looks really bad. He wasn't moving on the court. He really was kind of hobbling towards the ball as fast as he could and relying on ground strokes. And I was like, I don't know. Zverev ends up taking the next 2 sets. They go to tiebreak for both of the sets, but he takes the next 2. And then it's like, okay, is Carlos's body ready for a 5th set? I didn't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. I turned the match off. I couldn't take it. Yeah. I recognize when tennis is taking time off of my lifespan. And that 5th set, I was like, I don't know if I can if my nervous system can handle this. So I turned it off.
Good for you.
And then thank you. A boundary that I'm setting with myself.
It's good to reduce the risk of heart disease. Good for you. Keep going.
Mm-hmm. I slept. Not well, but I did sleep. And then I woke up to news that he had took that match. And then I watched it because I was like, well, how did he pull it off? His body, he ended up recovering in the 5th set, and he had enough in the tank to take Zverev out. Meanwhile, Zverev across the net is just on empty, basically. It was an incredible match. It was very reminiscent of last year's Roland Garros final between Carlos and Yannick. It was so good.
I thought Carlos was going to retire, but when I found out that he didn't, it really made me realize something about Carlos. 2 things. 1, not every Grand Slam final is of equal importance to him, whether he knows that or not. Because 2, when it is of the utmost importance, he's not losing. We saw it in that 5-set, 5-hour Roland Garros final with him and Yannick. And we saw it again in this match between Zverev, where he's like, if I don't make it to this final, I don't have my shot at getting the career slam this year. These 2 Grand Slams are 2 examples of him locking in more than any other Grand Slam final I've seen of his, where it's like there are players who won it, but there is a level of wanting that no one but Carlos Alcaraz can reach when he really, really wants it. Nothing can stop him. You'll have to drag him off the court.
Yeah. When he decides that a match is his, it is his.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah. It gives once in a generation. Yeah, he is a generational talent. Like that is undeniable. Even his biggest haters, like you can't there are so many things that you could say about Carlos, and there are so many things that you can say about Novak. But I think the similarity that they have, the common ground that they stand on, is that both of them are generational talents.
Yeah, Novak is impressive. And as someone who does not like what I know of him off the court, on the court, that is an impressive player. I'm impressed that he made the finals, even though it also involved Musetti retiring because Novak was up out of here. But then to get to the finals and get the first set off of Carlos at 38, I was like, give him his tens.
Yeah.
But I don't think he'll ever lift a trophy again.
I don't think so either. I watched the last set, the fourth set. In that last set of the final at the Australian Open, Novak just looked old. He looked his age. Because of the way that he looked in that final, I just don't see him having the ability to go 5 sets to lift a trophy. And he would have to do multiple matches that are 5-setters.
And I honestly think that for audiences, or at least for me, Novak's done enough. 24 Grand Slam titles is not nothing, bro. Like, it's astounding. But I think for Novak, maybe he's like, it's as long as I'm good as the rest, I can probably beat these two who are ahead of me. But yeah, I think it's cooked for him. And now I'm wondering when he'll retire.
I had the thought too. I don't think it's going to be this year. Maybe it might be next year.
He's 38 now. I think definitely before 40.
No, I actually think he's going to retire when he's 40. He turns 39 in a couple of months. And I think he's going to retire next year.
Do the entire year, tennis year, and then announce?
I think so. Because I think Novak would want a farewell tour, just like Stan Wawrinka is doing right now. I think he'll announce it before the season starts, and then the entire season next year will just be his farewell tour.
This is how you know that I respect Novak as a player, because you even saying you think he's going to retire next year at 40 made me sad. Because it's like, I could never listen to Novak in press ever again and be okay. But knowing that someone of that caliber is not on tour anymore, it lessens the competition when it comes to like who can beat Sinkaraz. So it's like with Novak out,
we're going to see the Sinkaraz sweep every year for the foreseeable future, every Grand Slam.
The rest of them better step their pussy up, because I cannot do 10 to 14 years of Yannick, Carlos, Yannick, Carlos, Carlos, Yannick, Yannick. I need variety.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, even just having a third man in it, that is something. We need something like that.
Who is going to be the Andy Murray of this new generation?
It remains to be seen. The only thing I'll say is shout out to Lerner Tien.
Oh,
he might. We'll see. His career is so new, so fresh, so young, but he played very well at the Australian Open, and I have high hopes. Him and Michael Chang are a beautiful duo. I think they complement each other very, very well. I think Lerner's game has improved since Michael Chang has started coaching him. That's all I'll say about that. But I'm not making any predictions because I'm not good at making predictions. But we'll see.
I am glad you brought this up, because it brings me to our next segment. I have done away with Black Tennis Facts. Not enough. There aren't enough. And I am changing my segment to an award segment that I'm calling the Belt to Ass Awards.
Okay, like that. I like that.
I will be giving out Belt to Ass Awards after every Grand Slam, and maybe some 1,000 levels. And for the inaugural BTA Awards, I have to give an award to Lerner Tien, who last January, was a qualifier.
Yeah, he was.
AO. And now, a year later, comes into the Australian Open seeded, beats Daniil Medvedev in straight sets, mind you. 6-4, 6 bagel, 6-3.
Yeah.
Okay. And then plays Zverev in the next round. He doesn't win that match. But if you watch that match, he was turning Zverev every which way but loose at certain times.
I will say everybody knows he beat Medvedev last year at the Australian Open. That is a fact. But I think a lot of people are like, oh, like, maybe he got lucky. The fact that he came back this year and did it again, that's not luck. That is talent. He's talented.
That is some Ostapenko versus Iga.
Shut out. Yes, absolutely.
I was gagged. Like, even watching this Zverev match, I was on my couch. Like, there were some points and some shots that he was confidently going for that I was like, learner, this is some good ass tennis. This might be a parasocial way to think for me, but I think it also has something to do with this fantastic Asian player who has his own French Open title in Michael Chang, partnering with this upcoming player who's also Asian, and just having that sort of like camaraderie and understanding of each other.
And representation.
Like, seeing someone coach you who is also an inspiration to you must be so motivating. And I think that's showing for Lerner Tien.
And he for me, he kind of came out of nowhere. But I watched that match, him against Zverev. And the one thing that I remember thinking is, by the end of this season, his drop shot is going to be perfect.
Nasty.
He has encyclopedic knowledge of tennis and of the court. He's becoming a very beautiful player. Not in the way that Carlos is considered a beautiful player, or even Roger Federer, but in his own extremely distinct way. And I think that is so powerful, and that's going to be really nice to see develop throughout the season.
They're both lucky. They're lucky to have each other.
Any other belt to ass awards?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. The next BTA award goes out to, drum roll please, Svitolina, all the way through the semis. She gets a BTA award. For details, she beat Diana Schneider in the third round, who is no easy opponent. She beat Mira Andreeva in the fourth round and Coco Gauff in the quarterfinals. So Svitolina, rightfully deserved. Yeah, sometimes all you need is for your husband to exit on the first round.
Yes. For your husband to announce, his retirement and his early exit. And you're like, I'm the breadwinner.
Yeah.
I have to show up.
She said, this isn't a duo anymore. This is a solo. The next BTA award goes to Jessica Pegula versus Madison Keys. I would also include the Anisimova match, but for some reason that was less impressive, though still impressive. The Madison Keys one was more impressive because that's the defending champ. And to come into that match and basically smoke her the way she did, I like that. BTA for sure. Now, my final belt to ass award does not go to a player at this year's tournament.
Okay.
My final belt to ass award goes to...
Is it a coach?
No.
Okay. Tell me.
Chris Eubanks.
Oh, that's a good one.
Chris Eubanks, who inarguably ran circles around every other commentator, including some of my favorites like Shanda Rubin and Petco, was on it. From the first match of this tournament to the finals. Knew his tennis history, knew the players he was talking to, could pronounce everyone's name correctly. He was serving. And sometimes you get tennis players who are great players, but they're okay at commentating, Johnny Mac. But then you have people who are okay players, but fantastic at commentating, and that's Chris Eubanks.
Yeah, I appreciated his point of view so much during this tournament. He was incredibly insightful. He was incredibly engaging and charismatic, and he was just very confident. I feel like Chris Eubanks, and no disrespect to his tennis playing, but he was made to be a commentator for the sport. He was so good.
His destiny is actually in tennis commentating, and that to get there, he just had to play a bit. I think he is right where he's supposed to be and where we need him to be.
A quick little divergence because we're talking about commentators. At the end of the women's final, Chrissy Everett was commentating.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if you saw this, but she called Arina Sabalenka Ariana. And then she tried to joke it off, play it off by saying, Ariana Grande? And it was so cringe and so unprofessional that I was like, I'm so sorry, but y'all actually should fire her over this. The number one player in the world, and you mispronounce her first name, Ariana. Either it's honestly, I hate to be ageist, but I'm gonna be ageist. Either the brain is slipping away from you, Chrissy Everett, or you don't care enough to pronounce her name correctly.
You know, they say tennis is a selfish sport. I feel like it's the latter, where her and a few others just don't care to get it right. And then to make matters worse, you are in the setting that shares a name with her. You're in an arena and you say Ariana, you are in Rod Laver Arena, and all you have to do is get back there.
ESPN, I'm begging you to just reconsider your commentators roster. Please, please.
Please. Get the McEnroes out of here.
When 5.5 hours of Johnny McEnroe saying Zverev. I wanted to kill myself.
Bruh, when I realized that Johnny Mac was calling the Novak Carlos match, I legit almost cried. It's like being trapped somewhere for hours. You can't get out. They couldn't find anyone else.
It was painstaking.
I don't know. As Grandpa would say, I don't know.
And they give him the big matches. He doesn't commentate during week one. I think if they're not going to do anything, they should demote him to a week one commentator.
They're never going to do that.
The name carries so much weight.
The name carries too much weight, I would say. And he would not settle for a week one commentator size check.
But he's so bad at the job.
Very. I can't wait for him to be old and senile where he can't do it anymore.
That's today. He is old and senile, and he shouldn't be doing it anymore. Nevertheless, he persists. Zverev.
Well, on that sad note, let's talk about what's coming up. What's next on the tennis calendar?
So the ladies are playing a 1,000 level event in Dubai, and for the men on the ATP side, it's a 500. That's happening from February 15th to the 28th. After that, they come back to the States. The next major event is Indian Wells from March 1st to the 15th, which I'm very, very excited about. I am really looking forward to seeing if Mira can defend her title.
That'll be good. I love Indian Wells.
Yeah, I think that'll be really fun. And then after that, we are blessed because they come back to the East Coast, straight down to Florida for the Miami Open, which honestly might be my favorite 1,000 event right now. There's a special place in my heart for Miami, and I always feel like maybe this is the year that I go to the Miami Open. Maybe this is the year.
Could be.
Maybe.
Could be. Yeah, this is good. We have Indian Wells, Miami, Monte Carlo, Madrid, Rome. Oh, Rome was fun last year. And then we have Roland Garros in May, Wimbledon at the end of June, and then our home slam at the end of August going into September.
Yeah,
a lot of tennis to cover. A lot of tennis to cover. If you are someone who enjoys talking about tennis and you are of the Black diasporic persuasion, we have a Discord now.
I'm excited about the Discord.
We premiered it at the start of AO, and it's just a place where other Black tennis fans get together and talk about the game.
Yeah, we have chit chats. We talk about our predictions for matches. We talk kits and tennis fashion. People organize in real life meetups for games. It's really exciting. There's a little bit of everything on the Discord.
And it's a FUBU community, so that makes it really cool and very comfortable. So if you are a Black person listening to this and you'd like to be a part of that, hit us up on social, and we'll add you to that Discord. Me and Jay are definitely in it for Grand Slams and 1,000 level matches, and then maybe for 500.
I like 500s personally, so I'll be around for the 500s. But again, if you are interested in watching those and discussing 500s or any other tournament, hit us up on social media, our Instagram at A Good Rally, our TikTok at A Good Rally Pod, and we could make something shake, honestly.
And I will stress this. There are no exceptions. You must be Black to join the chat. Because non-Black people have asked me, and I appreciate that interest. But for the most part, that interest exists outside of us, and we wanted to foster a space for Black people. So shout out to us for doing it. Anything else you want to say before we wrap?
No, I'm excited about the season. I will say my love for the game is back in a major way. Carlos opening the year with a Grand Slam championship, that I couldn't have asked for more. So I'm really looking forward to the rest of the hardcourt season, but I'm really looking forward to clay too.
Yeah, I am too. I echo all of those words, to be honest. This is going to be exciting. I'm glad that my predictions are wrong, because you just don't know who's going to win now. Okay, with that being said, thank you for listening to another episode of A Good Rally. We appreciate your support and your listening ears so much. If you don't follow us on social, please do, and we'll catch you on the next one, huh?
And don't forget to like, review, rate, subscribe, all the things to the podcast. And honestly, we'll see you on the socials because we're pretty active right now. So we'll see you on IG. We'll see you on TikTok. We'll see you on Discord.
Hello and goodbye. Bye.
Bye. Love you.